Bum 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 bum.
Tomatoes?
Hello, welcome to video 4. What is gameplay tags? The gameplay tags have actually been in the editor for a while, pretty much since the beginning, but they haven't been easily exposed to blueprints or the editor. And as of 4.15, we now have the ability to easily use them, so this will be a quick overview of how you might use them and how they work. For more information, please refer to the official Unreal documentation. So let's go ahead and quickly look at this. Inside of our editor preferences, if I clicked on the project settings and not editor preferences, we're going to now find new setup options for gameplay tags. And if we look through this, basically we have some gameplay tags that I have created and I've imported. Now by default, you're not going to have anything in here. The biggest thing is this right here. By default, this is what we're going to come up with. Nothing. Now, if you turn on import tags from config, this will actually allow you to edit things in directly. Previously to the editor version of this, you had a gameplay tags ini file that you would fill out, and then the tags would be read in. So if we tell it to import tags from the config, it gives us a nice convenient editor. So for example, I could put in black.white.green. This is the comment. Add a new tag, and the tag is going to come in. Now you notice I did black, period white, period green, and this is what comes out. It's a hierarchy. It's the way tags work. So for example, green has a parent of white, which has a parent of black. And I could look for something specific. If I look for black.white.green, I get anything tagged with black.white.green. You can see that in the tooltip. Or I could search for things that were white, anything under this category. For example, black.white.black will come back. So white has 2 children. Black has 1 child, and the black down here has 0, and green has 0. Now, this edits our default gameplay tags ini file. Now, if you didn't want to do that, for example, you wanted to have something laid out properly, for example, something you might want, you would use the gameplay tag table. Let's go ahead and uncheck that. Now we're going to use the gameplay tag table. I'll add 1 element and I'll choose my gameplay tags data table. You notice now I get a nice list of magic, fire, healing, ice, and melee. So I have 3 different types of magic and then a melee type. Now by default, you're not going to have a gameplay tags data table. You need a data table of the appropriate type. We can click on data table. We can name it whatever we want. So in this place, I'll go to my gameplay tags, and we'll call this my gameplay tags data table 2. We'll go ahead and save this. It's going to ask you the structure type. By default, the nice thing is the structure type we want is the gameplay tag table row. We'll go ahead and do that and hit OK. And now we have a structure we can fill out with our data. Now you're going to notice an issue here. For example, if I was to go ahead and clear this and then select the first one, it fills out. If I select the second one, there's nothing. Well, that's because there's nothing. We haven't put anything in. Let's go ahead and look at it, and we're going to go and edit it. And we can just simply add in some rows and add in our different types of tags. Same thing as before. I could do parent.child.child2, or I could do something like parent. And I could do something like, I don't know, parent.sister, spell that right. And you could basically fill things out however you want. I can do parent.mother. So we have a bunch of different rows in here. If we close this out, and let's close the row editor out, and let's go back into our project settings, well, yeah, it's not going to show up by default. It's slightly annoying. You'll have to go back and reselect it to get it to fill out. Now that we have, you can see our options. We have our parent, child, child2 hierarchy, and then our parent, child, parent mother, and parent sister hierarchy. So it allows you to easily nest tags. Now that we've got that out of the way, what would we use this for? Well, let me go back to my actual data table I intend on using. I have 3 different types of magic and melee. Now the nice thing about the way this works is you can query based on the entire group or hierarchy. So for example, if I wanted to see if this object has a tag for magic. It is a magic class. I can just check based on magic. I don't care if it's got fire, healing, or ice. I just want to know if it's magic or if it's melee. Or in the case of nothing, if I put a third one in. But if I want something specific, I could go, okay, well, I just want to know everyone who has healing. I could do magic healing. And it will give me only ones with magic healing, not ones that are magic, magic fire, or magic ice. It'll give me something specific. So it's a hierarchical list that you can use for basically tagging things. But the nice thing you'll notice here is it's a list that's already made. You don't have to rely on your designers remembering certain names, certain types, certain hierarchies. It's a list they can choose from. So let me go ahead and open up my examples. I have 2 of them. And I have a couple of them out here. I have a magic blueprint and a melee blueprint. Now these are just the names I chose. They could actually be anything. But if we go ahead and we pull up our things in here, we will notice we have our tags. We have our tags right here, and we have our tag. They are 2 different things. Tags is a gameplay tag container. It can contain more than one. Our tag is just a gameplay tag. It can contain only one. So it's something to keep in mind. More than likely, you'd use the tags container because when we search for things, it makes it easier. Now, if you have that variable type of tag container, it allows you the ability to edit your tags. And you can see that here. And again, really nice for our designers. Okay, this is a magic and healing. Boom, I'm done. It's only magic healing. Or magic ice. Now it's healing and ice. Or, there we go. Or you could just, for example, uncheck everything and just do magic, and now it's just magic. So you can set things up however you want inside of here. Now, I will say, as of now, I have been unable to make certain nodes work properly. This may change in the future, and if I find out how to make them work properly, because again, this is kind of like an experimental release going into blueprints with the editor, there will be updated videos. But for now, as far as I can tell, you have to query the container directly to get the information. Let me show you what I mean by that. So when I push my button, what I'm doing is grabbing all my actors of type melee. I'm going to loop through them all. I'm going to grab their tags container. And then I'm going to ask them, okay, do you have this query? Does container match tag query? This is the node I'm using. Takes in a tag container, that's our tags, and it takes in a query. Query is, for example, a make gameplay tag query node right here, and the nice thing is you get that same exact list. So for example, if I reset this, let's go ahead and hit play. We'll hit text block, we'll get true. I'm asking it if it's matching anything, and it's going to return back yes. Now, if we go in here and edit this, this is an any tags match. Let's go ahead and, I believe I need to, there we go, an undefined, and save this. Let's hit play and hit text block. We get false. I have no query. We're not asking it anything. The query can actually be a bunch of different things. We can ask if all the tags match, some of the tags match, none of the tags match. And you can ask actual expressions. These are more complicated things. We're just going to go with the tags. In this case, I want to grab all my melee ones and find out which melees actually support healing. So which melee classes can heal as well. So I'm going to go in here and I'm going to go, okay, I want all tags match. Oh, actually any tag match. And I want healing. So if these have a healing tag on them, I want it to return back true. So we'll go ahead and close that out. Close this out. We'll go ahead and hit play, and we'll hit text, and we'll get true. If we look at our items in here, let's grab our 2 melees, and we'll edit them. We'll find that their tags say, yes, it supports healing, and we'll grab our other one here. Yes, this one supports healing as well. Now, these aren't public variables. These are just private ones. If I was to, for example, go in and edit and remove healing, we'll go ahead and save these. We'll hit play, we'll text, and we'll hit false. Again, it simply asked if that container contained this tag, and it gave me a true or false. And then I, of course, printed out the information. There are other nodes in there for querying. For example, if you go through gameplay tags, you have some things you can compare one container to another. For example, this character and this character, do they have the same type of tags? And you can do other things. You can add tags, you can remove tags, you can append tag containers, you can see if they have all the tags, some of the tags, things like that. So like in this one, do they have all these tags? There's a bunch of different ways of searching, and they're all in there and they're nicely set up. But the key for the tags is it gives you a container that is right here. This is our tag container. You set the tags on this container, and now this blueprint has these tags. Now there is another node that I currently can't get working, which is our get all actors of class matching tag query. As you can see here, I have it set up the same as our other one over here. And I'm grabbing all of our actors and asking them which ones match this query. And in this case, I'm asking all of them. Any tags match all of these. So for example, we know some of them have healing. We just checked. If I was to hook this up and say, okay, all of my actors, how many of them match this? We'll hit play. None of them match. I have not quite figured out how to make this one work. When I do, I'll have additional videos covering it. But for now, you can think of tags as partially implemented, especially with the editor and querying function. There are some caveats to them, but it's really nice and useful to make your designers have a list that's structured and proper. You don't have to worry about spelling, misspelling, making sure they understand, okay, is it magic heal? Is it magic healing? Is it life magic? Is it nature magic? No, you have a nice list that you've created for them inside of your project settings that they'll be able to query and use for things. In terms of using it, for example, I gave you here, I tagged any of my melee characters that had the healing on it. So for example, if I have an AI, maybe my AI wants to see if anything around it can heal, so it can ask for healing. You could just simply, again, grab anything. In this case, I'm getting all actors, but you could have an AI do a sphere trace, grab everybody around it, ask everybody around it, hey, do you contain healing magic? And then if so, it can say, okay, well, please heal me. And you keep things generic and you keep things organized. You don't have to worry, okay, does he implement this spell or that spell or anything like that? It's a nice generic way of knowing what properties are on something. Now keep in mind, I mentioned, before I wrap this up, that it is a hierarchy. So it's magic.healing. And when we hit play here, whoops, and we hit text block, you find false. Because again, I went back and I removed my magic.healing. Now I have magic.fire. Now if we go in here, back to our tags, and we change this from magic.healing to just magic, in this case, and we hit play, and we hit text block, now we get true for both. Because it contains the parent of that one. It contains magic. Magic.fire means where anything magic here checked is going to trigger. So a search for magic or a search for magic.fire will trigger. A search for magic.healing or magic.ice will not. So that's going to wrap up our basics on the gameplay tags. Remember, the editor has been added in 4.15, so you need 4.15 or greater in order to use these things. Your table list is made from a data table, from your data table rows. Or you can import tags from config and edit directly using the default gameplay tags. That would be your personal choice. Either one works, it just depends on how you want it set up. And that's it. That's going to wrap up our gameplay tags overview.